Hey, how you doing? Thanks for downloading the show. Welcome to Garden Fork Radio. I'm your host, Eric. It's Eclectic DIY. Today, Rick is here. We're going to talk about web browsers. Nicole and I having a falafel and honeybees. Very exciting. Welcome, sir.
Yeah, a falafel of what?
A falafel of falafel, little falafel balls.
Yeah.
And a moussaka, which is a roast eggplant. And it is freaking delicious.
Oh, wow. Well, actually, I don't know. A falafel sounds like it's awful.
Right, right.
I was trying to do something with that, and I missed. Swing and a miss. How are you, my friend?
I'm fine. I got a really good parking spot. So.
Oh, well, holy shit.
I went and we started a second hive on the roof of my Brian's house, and it's easiest. I had to go get the bees. I can tell you about it later, but I had to use the car yesterday, and trying to park the car in the middle of the day is almost impossible in my neighborhood. And
right.
About 2 cars down from my apartment was a parking spot. So I was like, boom.
Yeah. You know, I got to the point when I was transporting bees, and I'd do a cutout or something, and I had a can full of bees, that I'd dumped in there, and you never can get them all, and so they're all buzzing around the outside of the can. I just put them in the back of the car. If you got the queen, they're all going to be back there,
yeah.
And so they're not going to be up bothering you, and so. But I've had people, run me off the road, honking and waving and stuff. Bees.
Well, you kind of attract that kind of attention, Rick. So
yeah, I'm afraid I do.
Might be all those bumper stickers in the back of your Prius,
I have not. Well, actually, I have military stickers. One of the things I remember from policing, and what I've since seen in other places, is the police, when they stop you or when they're thinking about stopping you, read the back of your car. And so, they're looking for bumper stickers, and, when it says retired Navy, I don't know, maybe you get a pass, but they more or less don't think of you as crazy. If you have others, I'm not even going to mention them here, but there are certain stickers that I think I would stop just on principle almost every time.
All right. Well, we'll leave that to your own interpretation. But anyway, we didn't even think to talk about this, but we have a spaceship that went around the moon. That was pretty cool.
It is. And they even used. Did you know that they actually used leftover and reused space shuttle parts?
Yes.
And that's just crazy. We're sending our junk around the moon again.
They specifically reused the main from the first stage. They used the engines.
See, I didn't know how much of that they reused.
And the space shuttle engines were built to be reusable, but unfortunately, that first stage was not built to be reusable. So those engines are now in the ocean.
No.
And SpaceX, their engines are built to land on a platform or on a flat surface. But I believe, even if they land on the barge but fall, into the ocean, I think their engines are built to be serviceable after being covered in salt water.
Oh, wow. I know, I'm not sure this last one, because it was such a big engine. I'm not sure it was their booster. I'm not sure if it was or I guess the primary stage, not the booster. I'm not sure if it was built to be landed on a platform like that. I don't know. Did it come back? Do you know?
Well, the first and second stage were sacrificial, but it all worked, which was the key thing. And the heat shield on the capsule worked, and that was something of a concern.
Yeah, the potty didn't work.
But they fixed that.
They needed Eric up there. Eric in space.
I was thinking about that. Because people are like, do you like to go camping? I'm like, my idea of camping is the Red Roof Inn, because I just like indoor plumbing. And then I'm like, well, now I could go in space because they have a bathroom in the space capsule,
That's right. And you'd be there to fix it when it plugs. You'd have to take your snake with you. Yeah, everybody gets a little tote bag of all the stuff they want to take with them, and you could take your snake.
Yeah. It actually fixes a lot of stuff. Anyway, I'm just glad that it all worked, and it's a big step forward. And the NASA administrator, I believe, is a really good guy. He's got the organizational skills, the entrepreneurial skills to get America's space program back on track, I think. So I feel good about that. Yeah. All right. So first of all, Nicole came to New York with her family.
Always exciting.
And man, she should, if you ever need like a tour planner, if Nicole wanted to switch careers, she would be great taking small groups of people on tours. You know?
Really?
She's just super organized. They drove here in their electric car, and they got a hotel on the west side of Manhattan, and it looked like a very nice hotel from the website. And Nicole she's not going to stay in anything that's not nice. If you're curious about that, Nicole can fill you in. But she's like, I want to have a falafel where you made your video when you picked up those cabinet drawers. And I'm like, it's about 12 feet wide, and there's a table for 4 people, and that's about it. And she goes, no, we're going to eat there. I'm like, okay. So we met on the corner and walked in, and there was one person staring at their phone at the 4-person table. And I said, would you mind if we sat here? Because 5 of us hauled in there in this tiny space. And she's like, oh no. And she moved it, which was nice. So we got to sit there, and I grabbed a chair from outside, and the guys behind the counter I know, and they were really great to them. And it was delicious. They enjoyed their, I believe the family that runs it is Egyptian, and they make some really good food.
You said Egyptian. That just dawned on me. I was researching the root word of gypsy for the travelers, and it turns out it's the Egyptian. It's the Egyptian.
Oh,
that's where gypsy comes from. Apparently, there was some thought sometime in the past that they were Egyptians, and that's somehow gypsy is how that came about.
Who knew? There's a podcast called Away with Words.
Oh, yeah.
And they have a call-in, and people say, oh, I heard this phrase, like 23 skidoo, my mom used to use, and I don't know anything about that. And I'm pretty sure they research it ahead of time. They don't play it, and spontaneously answer. But they have very interesting answers to, the etymology or origin of words and phrases.
Right.
And I learned about that podcast from the woman that runs the cash register at the hardware store.
Oh, really?
It's funny how
you know everyone.
Well, if you have 2 Labradors, you meet everyone.
That's true.
Because they're almost actually in New York, there actually are groups of people that do not like dogs at all. And it's a culture thing.
Sure.
And that's fine. So... And they're like, oh, those dogs are big. I'm like, they're 60 pounds, That's not very big.
So how's Spiker's hip?
Oh, yeah. Actually, it's her knee. She went to Eclipse Specialty Surgery and Emergency Room Hospital, I guess it's called. It's in Whippany, New Jersey. If you're in the tri-state area, go there. They have a great emergency room, but they have great specialists there. And it's called a TTA, I think is what she got. There's a plate that they put into her knee. They have to cut part of the bone. And the first couple days I found extremely stressful. I mean, my wife is rock solid. I can't really tell you. Rick knows her and knows what she does for a living. And you're like, holy cow.
She's wonderful. Yeah, she is.
And I'm like, and you have to learn how to pee on 3 legs, and you have to try and keep her calm. And she's on these painkillers, so she wants to play. She brings her toy over,
Yeah. And you can't really play with her because Yeah, you don't want to distress the leg or rip the stitches out or something.
And the best thing we did was, since she likes to sleep in bed with the camera operator, I took the bed apart and I threw the mattress on the floor of our bedroom. And I just put the rest of the thing. I put it somewhere. I don't know where. But anyway, just moving your bed onto the floor if you're working with a dog that has had surgery and likes comfort, because she could step up onto the bed, which is, a mattress is 6 inches or whatever.
Right.
But we're lucky we have a little backyard because it's already fenced. The backyard is 20 foot wide by about 12 feet deep. And so it was a perfect place. If she needed to go to the bathroom, she could go there. If you don't have a yard or a big yard, you have to leash walk your dog for a month after the surgery, because that bone has to heal again. Right. But knock on wood, this will be the second knee she's had done, so she has bionic knees now. And
I'd be tempted to leash walk her even in the backyard. When Bhutan had her ACL fixed, she would still try to do too much, run too far, or try to do this, try to do that. Squirrels, they seem to bother her, and they taunt her, they task her, and so I'd have to leash walk her when she went out, just to make sure she didn't do anything stupid, and then pick her up and lift her up over the stairs, onto the stairs.
Yeah. No, that's a very good point. Luckily, she was calm in the backyard, but we've been going on leash walks now, and things are good. It's good. If anyone has any questions, I'm happy to help if you have an issue or something. Gardenfork87@gmail.com. So, all right, space, and then we just talked about Spiker and Nicole.
Right.
I found another browser. There's a site run by a guy. I think his name is Kottke, KOTTKE.org. It tilts to the left politically, but they have some interesting articles. It's a lot of links to other things, videos, but it's a lot of smart stuff. It's not clickbaity. It's stuff that makes you think. And one of them was a new browser for at least the Mac. It's called Quiche, Quiche. I don't know anything about it, but it's a independent, private, transparent browser built by a passionate maker. Thoughtfully designed customization options, quality of life improvements without sacrificing ease of use. Established browsers can't compare.
Wow. I've been using one, been trying it out. There's a search engine called, I don't know how you pronounce it, Kagi, Kagi.
Maybe Kaji?
Kaji, maybe. And you're getting a little Kaji there, my friend. But I pay $5 a month for it, but it has no ads, no sponsored links or anything. And it's really very nice. And they make a companion browser called Orion, which is privacy focused. And I've been trying that out on my iPad, and I really like it. And I'm not one of these people who says if it's not free, I'm not going to use it.
Right.
If it's worth having, it's worth using, it's worth paying a little bit of money for.
Oh, totally. It's a cup of coffee a month.
Yeah, less than that now. Have you checked coffee?
Hey, real quick, I have a new link for the Garden Fork store on Amazon. If you happen to be shopping on Amazon, appreciate it if you use my link to go to Amazon and start your shopping. The link will be in the show notes here. It's a universal link. I can explain it later in the podcast sometime, but just please use that link. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you. You know what's expensive now?
Well, everything.
I regularly go see my sister, which is normally sometimes as low as $220, some $350. It was almost $600 to go to St. Louis and back.
So you can't get there from here.
Yeah. And, usually you flying out of New York City, the flights are cheaper because you don't have to hop, you don't have to take 2 flights or anything. We go direct everywhere,
Yeah.
But that was a reality check. I was like, wow. And jet fuel has, the price has gone up quite a bit.
KLM and a lot of the airlines in Europe have actually canceled their regional flights. They just
Yes.
can't make them profitable. People will not pay for them.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard right now.
Yeah.
We won't go into electric cars. Everyone will spare you an electric car lecture.
I still love my, I call it a Prime. We have two of them, but mine is actually technically a Toyota Prius plug-in. And it's a hybrid, your standard hybrid with an engine and a battery. But it has this additional battery, and the additional battery is only good for 30 miles. But I've talked about this before, I'm sure. It's amazing how much travel you can do on 30 miles in a day.
Yep.
Really. I mean, you seldom go outside that range for a great extent. So since I moved to a new hangar, I can get all the way to the hangar down in Chesapeake and still have battery left.
Oh, nice.
And so that's nice.
So while we're talking, I have a hand weight or dumbbell on my desk now. I don't put it under the desk. I have it right in the center of the desk. And when I'm doing calls or podcasts like this, I do some hand weight exercises while we're talking.
Okay. I did not expect that. I thought it was just another paperweight.
No, I just, I have different hand weights, and I do some exercises with the YouTubers HasFit, HASFIT. Very beginner friendly, no judgments, no let's get buff, let's get ripped. It's just very chill. And every month they put out at least one like beginner hand weight or resistance band exercise. There's maybe thousands of their videos now. And you can pick and choose what you want to do.
Do you think anybody actually responds to that kind of cajoling that people get? Hurry up, get fit, move this. You're doing great. It's like, I find you annoying. I'm going to put you on mute.
Yes, there is a part of our country that does respond to that.
Do they watch YouTube?
Yeah, yeah.
Can they find YouTube? Oh.
The nerds of the world will rise up, Rick, and then we
Yeah.
will run the world.
I tell you, YouTube has gotten so bad with the clickbait stuff. It's
Yes.
frequently unwatchable. Although there is some AI-generated content that I find really entertaining. One of them is called the Dog Bone Podcast, and it's AI-generated dogs, a German Shepherd and a Lab, and they have this microphone in front of them and headsets, and it's kind of like a sports talk call-in show, but they talk about dog issues, and the truth is the actual things they're saying, you have to read a lot of dog psychology and dog training and whatnot. The things they're saying is really good information. And but they'll talk back and forth and make weird jokes and that kind of stuff. And it's fascinating to see the dog's lips sync with the voice, which is also AI generated, by the way. The two voices. And then every now and then they'll break out and do this laugh, and the dogs open their mouths and look like they're having a great time. I'm like, wow, that is such an amazing feat.
I've run across AI generated content. Usually when I'm searching for, I use the DaVinci Resolve Studio, and it's a great product. It's a great piece of software. It's well worth buying, but some of the features are incredibly dense. And so to do what I think are easy things, but I do run across where like, here's, how to add a color lookup table to all the clips in a bin or something. And maybe a third of the videos that show up in the search are AI generated, and I don't want to watch that. I usually look for a person. There's a couple of DaVinci Resolve experts, and I look for their videos in the search. But what I find troubling is even people I know in the DIY space are using AI to generate their thumbnails. And it looks I think they look horrible. It just is like, one guy's like rebuilding an engine, and behind the engine there's like flames and clouds, and it looks like, bedlam behind them. Engine won't work. What's wrong? And they've got this face like, ugh, and it's very super saturated, that hyper realistic look. And then when you start to watch the video, it's Joe Blow in his garage. And I'm like, I'm actually purposely pivoting completely to the opposite of all that. Like, I put out a witty video about splitting wood, and you know what the title was?
I saw that.
I love splitting wood, because that's what it's about. Hey, I'm going to split some wood. Come along for the ride.
You could do 30 minutes of that and just turn the audio off and just make it an ASRM, kind of in a half slow motion. I would watch that. For some reason, that splitting wood and watching that get broken out in sections and whatnot, it is just fascinating to me.
I should shoot some with a slow motion camera, because there's one shot where it's a piece of ash I was splitting. I had tilted instead of having the splitter horizontal, I tilted up so it's a vertical splitter, because some of the log pieces are so heavy and big you can't lift them up. And when the wedge first hits those big ones, the hydraulic pump hesitates. It goes brrr, and it goes and it makes a cool pop. But the sawdust and wood shavings that are in the bark from being cut and rolled around and everything kind of explodes outward.
Oh, how neat.
If you look, I watch it in slow motion, it kind of goes, and I'm like, oh wow, I should do that. So the next time I actually have a bunch of stuff to split, and I'll do that again. But my point here is that I'm more and more about a literal or perhaps questioning title, like, oh, are the bees okay? I did this stupid thing, but it's all about, massive failure of engine, what to do, or,
it's not going to help the people who follow you. And mostly I think people are more sophisticated, that if they're not following you already or have a recommendation or something, that kind of thing is just a turn off.
To me, like even a guy that does narrowboat videos, he's documenting, there's several people doing this, but there's been a canal breach near Shropshire, the Litchfield Canal, I think it's called. But anyway, he's like, huge failure at the canal. And, one of the excavators broke or something, and it's not a big deal. It's just, you gotta go get another one, But yeah. I just won't watch the guy's videos anymore.
Oh dear. There's a guy that I'm fascinated by, that whole life cruising the canals. There's actually a YouTube called Cruising the Cut.
Oh, he's great.
Yeah, isn't he? And he's got a good flow with words, and he does some dumb stuff every now and then.
Yes, he does.
And you go, well, that's not great. And then he'll acknowledge it. This didn't work out the way I planned it to, because it's like This Old House, where they show you only the successes. They don't show you and he shows you all the. He's like this guy Eric I watch on Garden Fork. He'll show you the bad things as well as all the good things.
Yeah, he is. In addition to having a canal boat, he has. It's called a cruiser. It's like a small outboard cruiser boat. It's like the boat you see people get pulled on skis or stuff like that. Water skis or something, and he's fixing that in a boatyard, and he's doing a lot of fiberglass work. And, then he puts out a video about fiberglass in this one part, and he just talks back to the camera. He goes, there's a number of comments the last time about how I was doing it wrong, and I didn't know what I was doing. He goes, it's called DIY for a reason. And it was like, it was funny to see an English person be mad. But he was basically telling him to go stuff it, But I just loved it, because he's like, why do you think they call it do it yourself? Because I'm doing it myself, Yeah.
There's I watch a couple of them, a couple of shows. One of them's called Ambition Strikes, and they do all kinds of welding stuff, and he'll look at the camera and say, this is not a how-to. This is how I do it.
That's what Garden Fork is.
Yeah. Well, we had this is my season to do the annual maintenance and checks you have to do for having an airplane. And after I did all that, and everything turned out pretty good, I thought.
Surprise.
Yeah, she who must be obeyed, and I flew it down to Cape Hatteras.
Oh, nice.
And, yeah, and on the way back, I said, "Do you smell coolant?" Unlike most aircraft engines, this Rotax has both air-cooled and water-cooled. And the water-cooled is just to cool the heads at the top.
The cylinder heads.
Yeah, the cylinder heads. And she says, "Yeah, I think I do." And I said, "Well, it's not an emergency yet, but I was looking at the temperatures on the gauges, and I said, it's going up a little bit." And so we landed on a turn row in a field.
Ah.
And I took the cowling off, and sure enough, when I put it all back together, I had one of the water hoses just a little too close to the exhaust, and the exhaust runs about 1,500 degrees or so, and so it was melting its way through, and it was beginning to seep. And I said, "Damn," But the point of this little story is, because it was not an emergency of any sort. You just, you can land these things anywhere. But particularly around here, this entire region is just one big landing field. But the point is, I had self-amalgamating tape with me. Have you ever used that stuff?
No, maybe I know what it is, but that's a great word.
Yeah, self-amalgamating tape. It comes on a roll, and then the roll has a thin plastic layer between each section of the roll as it rolls up, because it sticks to itself. And you tear off a good length of that, take that plastic covering off, and you stretch it and then wrap it around whatever. And it works on aluminum, it works on steel, it works on rubber hoses, anything. It works on water pipes in your house. And you do some wraps, and you get good wraps going. Try to get about only 50%, get 50% of the old tape wrapped on there as you go around and around and around, overlap at 50%. And then I did like 3 runs of that across this spot, and put a cable tie on it and tied it out of the way so it wouldn't be touching the exhaust anymore. And it will hold pressure. It holds up to 300 pounds of pressure.
Wow.
And all we had to do was take the cowling off, the top cowling off, and let the engine cool off. And I took a little nap under the wing, and then got out the self-amalgamating tape, did a few runs of that, and came back in. It was wonderful.
I love that.
Yeah. But I keep it in both cars. I keep it in the plane. You never know when you're going to have it works with fuel. It works with gasoline. It works with diesel. It works on steel, aluminum, rubber products, plastic products, anything you want. It will make a seal. And it's pretty cool stuff.
Can you buy it in the hardware store?
Oh yeah, you can get it at Walmart's. I think it's I paid $9 a roll for it or something. It's on a card.
Huh.
Yeah, that's where I got it. But you can get it from, I think the last one I got was from the Amazon store and my friend's Garden Fork link.
Yes, you can. If you're going to shop at Amazon, go to amazon.com/shop/gardenfork.
Yeah, but self-amalgamating tape is just a wonder material. It only takes about 15 minutes for it to set up, and it sticks to itself, and it does more than harden. It bonds, and it makes a really good seal. It's good to, I think, 900 degrees Fahrenheit, and it will hold 300 pounds of pressure if you do it right.
Wow. I'm going to look this up.
Yeah, the stuff is absolutely amazing, and it's essentially dirt cheap. But I'm sure you can get it at the blue store, the red store.
That'd be great for your radiator hose on your car.
Yeah, exactly. I wished now back in my police days they had this kind of thing. You'd run up on people who had a split in their hose or something, and it was, you want to get them on the way and get them out of your traffic lanes. What you want to do.
Yeah.
And so, if I'd had a roll of this stuff, I could have wrapped a few turns and put some water in the radiator, gotten them out of the roadway. So, you know, because every now and then I get these backups, you know, like miles long with one guy. The record couldn't even get to me. The backup was so bad, and going across this dam that we had, and so it would have been a real godsend then.
Yes. Well, you are a godsend as well, Rick. So.
Oh, thank you. As are you. We belong to a mutual admiration society, my buddy and me. You don't remember that, do you?
No, but I love it when you sing. I love it when you sing.
When I sing, birds die.
All right, Rick is going to sing some more in the after show. If you're interested in getting behind the scenes stuff from Eric and a bonus show, the podcast, The After Show, you can learn more about that through Patreon. I ask for a cup of coffee a month. You can follow me for free on Patreon. I post maybe half free stuff and half for the supporters. Like all the Spiker update photos, they're all on my Patreon. Go patreon.com/gardenfork, and you can see there's 4 or 5 pictures of Spiker with their stitches and looking like she just came out of surgery. And
yeah, I loved her bikini cut. You know, when they shaved her up, you know, got a real bikini cut going on.
Thank you, Rick.
Yeah.
All right, that's my dog you're talking about there, Rick. But anyway, for the patrons,
that little tart.
You will be able to listen to Rick for another 15 minutes because I'm going to hit the end button here.
Okay. Well, it was great talking with you, my friend.
All right. See y'all. Let me know what you think. Gardenfork87@gmail.com. See you.
Later.
Garden Fork Radio is produced by Garden Fork Media LLC in Brooklyn, New York. The music in the show is licensed from audioblocks.com and uniquetracks.com.